Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. It's Friday, March 19th. A very quick video update today on all the important news from this past week. Plus, I've heard back from a direct person at the SBA in terms of what to expect for the additional $5,000 EIDL grants. I'm going to talk about what she said in the email to me and what that means for you in terms of timing and what to expect. That's for the EIDL grants, but lots to cover today. As always, thanks so much for tuning in and subscribing, and be sure to watch until the end. Let me start with some of the big news from this week, that Isabel Guzman was confirmed as the 27th administrator of the SBA. Why are we excited about this? For a couple of reasons. Number one, she has a great track record helping small businesses, and it's largely believed that she will do more than Javita Carranza, that she will speed up the process of getting out money to people, not only for the PPP funds, but also for the EIDL grants and loans. In addition, many people believe she may remove the EIDL loan caps. Currently, EIDL loans are capped at $150K. Many are optimistic that she may get rid of that. Bottom line, it's seen that she will allow more businesses to seek the funding they need. Of course, at the end of the day, it all comes down to how much money is in the SBA's pot, but they have a lot of money now. They got $40 billion for targeted EIDL grants. That's virtually gone nowhere. And they got an extra $15 billion with the new law from last week for targeted EIDL grants. And our poll earlier this week showed that 99% of you haven't received any new EIDL grant funding. So I just want to recap the Senate vote. They approved her on March 16th. The vote was 81-17. Guzman will represent more than 30 million small businesses in the U.S., 30 million small businesses, many of you watching this channel, and lead an agency committed to helping small business owners and entrepreneurs start, grow, and be resilient. The SBA must continue to be a lifeline for small businesses in the months ahead. I'm confident that Isabel Guzman is the best person to lead the agency out of the pandemic and through the economic recovery to follow. Ben Cardin, Democrat from Maryland, said this. He also said, Mrs. Guzman's commitment to equity and her deep knowledge of the needs of small businesses will make her a strong advocate for all small businesses in the Biden administration. Many of you watching, again, if you believe these words, it means that she will become a strong advocate for your needs, and your needs typically right now are to be eligible, to get approved, and to get the funding. So I hope she speeds things up, especially for underserved communities. She's done a lot for Black, Latino, Native, and other underserved communities. She will lead a workforce of over 9,000 SBA employees and administer the SBA's portfolio of loans, investments, disaster assistance, contracting, and counseling. This includes, of course, PPP, EIDL, Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program, and additional support from the American Rescue Plan. If you want to read this, I'll leave a link to this press release right in the description for you. The other piece of big news before I talk about what I heard directly from the SBA is that the House voted to extend the PPP for another 2 months. Here's what happens next. It has to go to the Senate, but the House approved the PPP Extension Act of 2021 by 415-3, so virtually everyone supported this. I don't know who didn't support it. I'll look at that in a minute. It goes to the Senate where it's expected to be approved, so there shouldn't be a problem here getting this extension. Here's a quote. It's clear that the most vulnerable businesses will need help beyond March 31st, so we must pass this extension as quickly as possible. This is common sense. Bipartisan bill will meet the continued demand for PPP loans by giving small businesses 2 more months to apply and the SBA an additional month to process. So the SBA will have until June 30th to process those loans. So for many of you, and around a third of you are still waiting, according to our data, this is good news. Now let me switch gears to targeted EIDL grants. Virtually all of us are still waiting. I specifically asked the administrator what's going on, first with the existing targeted EIDL grants, and second with the supplemental funding. That's $5 billion extra that was approved last week to give out more money. So in some cases, if you got $10,000 but your revenue dropped by 50% and you're in a low-income area, you will be eligible for an extra $5,000. So here's what I found out and how that process is going to work. All right, here's the letter. I blocked out her personal information. She said she didn't want a lot of people contacting her, but it's from the Office of Communications and Public Liaison at the SBA. The question I asked was about the targeted EIDL grant funding, particularly the $5,000 in additional funding. Is this process going to be similar. Now, I wanted to be nice. I didn't want to bring up the frustration that all of you are having. Why is it taking so long for the original targeted EIDL grants? So I mainly just focused on the additional money and to ask, hey, are things going to speed up? And do they anticipate a similar process as the targeted EIDL grant program? And do they know when further details might be released? So let me zoom in. So here's her answer. We don't have a time frame yet for when the supplemental targeted EIDL advanced program details will be released. However, we do anticipate that it will be a similar process to the targeted EIDL advanced program currently underway, where potentially eligible applicants receive an email invite to apply for the targeted advance based on certain data we collect as part of the COVID-19 EIDL loan application. After completing the targeted EIDL advance application, if they meet the qualifications of the supplemental, so basically that's 50% revenue reduction, you need to show that. If you meet these qualifications, you would be invited back into the application portal to request the $5,000 supplemental payment. Again, here's what she says. This has not been finalized yet because the supplemental targeted EIDL advance was just created last week as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, and we are still planning the most effective and efficient way to implement the program. So obviously, she put in this last sentence as a caveat, basically the first part saying, we expect it'll be the same process. If you do qualify, you'll be invited back to the portal to complete the information. However, they're open to a more effective and efficient way to implement this. Maybe Isabel Guzman is getting into the weeds here. Maybe she'll have some good ideas and say, hey, why are you doing it this way? No one's received their funds. It's been 3 months. So that's the latest information from the Office of Communications at the SBA. Again, I got this morning and I wanted to share it with you before the weekend. Hey, I think it's positive news to see this, to see that they are aware that they need to get this going. But most of you are still waiting, and I know it's frustrating. Anyway, that's a quick recap of this week's news. Would love to hear in the comments, what do you think about this week's news in terms of the timing? What lingering questions do you have about all these programs? I'll be reading more of the comments tonight, and tomorrow I'll be answering some more in the coming days for all of you. Most importantly, I hope you stay well, stay healthy. Please consider liking and sharing this video, and if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. We're going to pick more giveaway winners on Monday. You have to be a subscriber of our channel and use our free app, Hello Skip, in the App Store. Stay well, stay healthy, have a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow.